This episode of Recollecting Retro was originally posted exclusively over on Patreon. If you want more content just like this, consider going over to patreon.com/coop64, which is also linked in the description down below. Now, enjoy the episode.
Welcome in to the second episode of Recollecting Retro, the show dedicated to all things old in the world of gaming. Of course, that first episode is a vlog-style video going to a few gaming stores, picking out some items and going out over what I ended up picking up. And as we said in the announcement video, some episodes are going to be me just going through my collection of a particular console and breaking down what I got, what I'm looking to get maybe at some points, going through the boxes and just kind of peeling over the collection as it stands right now. And in the first episode, we are doing PS1 games, one of my favorite consoles of all time, if not my favorite console of all time. And I think that is supported by the breadth of games on this console. There's so many great games, so many fantastic genres of games as well. Platformers, RPGs, this is like the king of the JRPG, sports games, horror games, like it's got a little bit of everything. But to kick it off, we have Ape Escape, the first Ape Escape game. Shout out to Serum, of course. I played this for the first time last year. Super fun platformer. You're going around, you're trying to collect the monkeys, run after them with your little net using the dual sticks. One of the first games to really use the analog sticks, because as you know, the PlayStation 1 launched without the Dual Shock. It came later. It had no sticks to start, which is really freaky, really weird to see. This game I bought on eBay. It's one of the downsides to buying on eBay. You never know exactly what you're going to get. It's a little bit cracked. I thought the case kind of came off on this one, but it doesn't. But yeah, it's a nice little title here. Ape Escape for the first game we have. Next up, we have Bomberman Party Edition, just a super fun arcade game. You can play it with multiple people. It has a single player mode. Really clean copy here. Like, look at that. Oh my goodness, I lost the top of it. Nick, can you get me that? We're learning how to do this here. Oh my goodness, we're putting it back. Thank you, Nick, for handing me Bomberman on the PlayStation 1. There you go. Shout out to Bomberman. Next up, the start of the Squaresoft collection here in alphabetical order. We have Brave Fencer Musashi. Squaresoft at the top of their game with the JRPG double box here. Like, come on. Has a demo disc for the all-powerful Final Fantasy VIII. Not 7, Nick. Nick thought it was going to be 7, but it's Final Fantasy VIII. I assume a lot of people back in the day probably bought this just for that. I also saw an ad, I think, in here for Parasite Eve. If I can get this out of the box, I'm afraid to get it out of the box and drop it. Here we go. Yep, Parasite Eve, Xenogears, Bushido Blade 2. I don't own Bushido Blade 2 yet, but this has a little bit of gunk on it. I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's a little bit gross. Unlucky, but there you go. Brave Fencer Musashi, a little bit of a pricey game. I think it's about $80 when I bought it, $60 maybe. I've had it for a while now though, so did I put that back in right? I think I did. Brave Fencer Musashi, Squaresoft. You'll see a lot of Squaresoft throughout this collection, of course, because next up we have Bushido Blade, a ninja type game, I guess. You're fighting, you're a samurai, 1 to 2 player combat, 6 awesome fighting modes, it says on the back. The thing that I really like about this game, the thing that really stands out to me is look at that box art. Let's look at, like, it's just so clean. I feel like a lot of box art in the PS1 era just does not look that great, but Bushido Blade, just really clean. Has an ad for Saga Frontier, Final Fantasy VII, and Final Fantasy Tactics in here. My goodness gracious, would you look at that? Boom, Bushido Blade. There you go. I've never played this game, and I really would like to at some point, but I think I've heard kind of mixed things that hasn't aged very well, but for a game that I have played, shout out to Laura for buying this for me for Christmas, I think 2 years ago at this point, 2023. No, I guess just 1 year ago at this point. Castlevania Symphony of the Night, some of the worst box art downgrade that I've ever seen in my entire life. Go look up the box art for the Japanese version of this game. It is so clean, so beautiful with Alucard on the front. This is just like the castle, like a generic picture of a castle. So gross, so ugly, but ad for Silent Hill 2 in the inside here. Excellent game, dude. Just cannot recommend it enough. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Go out and play this if you have not. I think every self-respecting gamer who loves gaming history needs to play Castlevania Symphony of the Night at some point in their life. I rectified that earlier this year. Really glad I did. Another Squaresoft. Chocobo Racing. Are you kidding me? Never played this one, but it's a racing game where you race as chocobos and other, I guess, Final Fantasy type characters and stuff. It's weird. It's wacky. Back when developers were taking risks, they got an ad for Chocobo Dungeon 2 in here, which I think is another PS1 game that I do not have. But yeah, there you go. Chocobo Racing. Not very expensive game, but good to have in the collection because I'm trying to get all the Squaresoft games like Chrono Cross, the quote-unquote sequel to Chrono Trigger, though I think it has like nothing in common really with it. Just a gorgeous double box game here, a game that I definitely would like to cross off the backlog at some points, but I should probably play Chrono Trigger first, you'd have to imagine. Double disc. I really do love the double discs of the PlayStation 1 generation. Just super clean, super nice. Chrono Cross. Next up, we have a very special game to me because on Christmas Day in 2002, my mom got me Kingdom Hearts, NBA Street Volume 2, the PlayStation 2, and for some reason, she got me Crash Bash for the PlayStation 1. I guess she knew that the PS2 was backwards compatible. There's a picture of Nick laying on my back or sitting on my back while I'm laying down in a sleeping bag playing the Pogo level in Crash Bash. Crash Bash is like a Mario Party type game. Doesn't have that many game modes in it, but it's the ones that it does have are super fun. It has like this Pong type game. It has the Pogo game where you're trying to like fill out the board. It has like a tanks game. It's really cool, dude. I really like it. The vibes are really immaculate. When I booted this up after getting it in 2023, I was like, oh man, the nostalgia is flowing back. Crash Bash. Next up, where the heck is... Oh, here we go. I was out of order. Somehow we lost them. Next up, we got 3 Crash Bandicoot games. We have Crash Bandicoot. We have Crash Bandicoot 2 and Crash Bandicoot Warped. Boom. The entire trilogy. You can play these on modern consoles nowadays, but if you want to play them on the original, these are pretty clean copies. I'm not exactly happy that they're the greatest hits copies for Crash and Crash Bandicoot Warped, but can't really complain. Happy to have these in the collection. Some classic Naughty Dog titles. And another classic Naughty Dog title. Some say it's the best racing game of all time. I wouldn't know. I've never played this game. But Crash Team Racing. Cheap one. Really not too expensive to pick up. Glad to have this in the collection. Nick, when are we getting on Crash Team Racing? Oh, we're getting on that bad boy? Throw it on the schedule, Nick. Throw it on the thermometer. Group stream. Which comes first here? This comes first. Dead or Alive Martial Arts Fighter. For some reason, the back of the case is upside down. I don't know why that's the case, but this is like a fighting game. I think this game has become a little bit different in the modern age with some bikinis and such with the characters. But in the original iteration, I guess it's just a straight up martial arts fighting game. It was pretty cheap. I've heard about the series. Let's pick one up, throw it in the collection. There you go. Next up, a game that needs a remake that I'm excited about the potential of. Dino Crisis. Capcom. A Resident Evil style dino game. I mean, what more could you freaking want? Like, that's such a match made in heaven. So weird, so cool. Really excited about the potential of this coming back at some point. I imagine it will, with what what Capcom is doing lately with their Onimusha and Okami coming back. Bring back Dino Crisis. Okay, we're 1/5 of the way through the collection. We're making our way downtown. Let's get into Dragon Warrior 7. Before they started calling it Dragon Quest in the West, it was called Dragon Warrior Enix. Before Squaresoft and Square Enix merged, we had Enix games. Akira Toriyama artwork. Are you kidding me, dude? Like, these games are classic. I've always wanted to play the older ones. Of course, you can now play Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake on Switch, but 7 and 8 are considered some of the best, so I'm going to eventually get to that. Okay, here we go. A couple of Final Fantasy anthologies here. Literally, Final Fantasy Anthology. Can I prop this up? No. I'm going to put it here. Final Fantasy Anthology, Final Fantasy Chronicles, and Final Fantasy Origins. Final Fantasy Origins has 1 and 2 on it. I think this is the first time this came to the West. Final Fantasy Anthology has 5 and 6 on it. 5, this was definitely the first time it came to the West. And then you have Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 4. And of course, 4 is 2 on SNES, but apparently this version of Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 6, like, these are horrible ways to play it, but they do have CG cutscenes at the start that are actually pretty cool, pretty dope. So maybe one day I'll play these on this version. I don't really have access to 5 otherwise, because of course they skipped from 2, which is 4, to 3, which is 6 on the SNES, so 5 never came over until this iteration. But there you go, some Final Fantasy, and we're keeping it going. Final Fantasy Tactics. Dude, this game's artwork, this game's characters, so freaking good. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is in the same world as Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy 12 or something like that. And I think that's a really cool aspect if that is in fact the case. Somebody, I think Resident Arc, previously known as Dark Pixel, on YouTube, said that in one of his videos, and that's where I got that fun fact from. But dude, like, I've wanted to play this for the longest time. I'm glad to have it in the collection. I do have it on my PS Vita as well, because taking Final Fantasy on the go, Tactics on the go, are you kidding me? All right, next up, it's not the PS1 without some of the GOATs here. The Final Fantasy games on the PlayStation 1. We have Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, and Final Fantasy 9. My favorite here, Final Fantasy 9. Played this. This was the first retro game I bought, technically. It was this and Donkey Kong Country in the same trip. Got the PS1, got the SNES at the same time, picked this up, really excited to play this, and got to it, and cried a whole bunch because of Vivi, because he's a great character. You absolutely love Vivi. Not played Final Fantasy 8 at this point. I played Final Fantasy 7 on the PS4, but it's nice to have it in the collection on PlayStation 1. It's not a PlayStation 1 collection without Final Fantasy. Are you kidding me, dude? Next up, we have another Squaresoft title, Front Mission 3. I believe this is some sort of mech tactical game. If you have not noticed, I have a lot of Squaresoft games because Squaresoft was absolutely cooking during this generation. I'm only a few titles away from having a full PlayStation 1 Squaresoft collection. This is a part of that, of course. So we're getting closer. Only like 4 more titles. Very excited about it. The Legend of Dragoon. Dude, in our comment section, this is maybe the game that is shouted out the most. And for PlayStation 1 games, this is definitely at the top of my list. 4 discs. An absolute behemoth of a title. Dude, like, come on. Shout out this character showing up in Astrobot. And I was like, oh my God, is that the guy from from Legend of Dragoon? Where's the 4th disc? Oh, it's behind this. My goodness, they're hiding it from me. I was afraid. I was like, do I not have all 4 discs? Legend of Dragoon. Would like it not to be in the greatest hits box. I'm not a huge fan of the greatest hits green, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I'll still do it. Legend of Legaia. Another expensive title, expensive JRPG, but what's really cool about this game is it's kind of like a fighting game / JRPG. Really cool. People like to shout this one out in the comments whenever it's on the back wall as well. But like, yeah, come on, look at that. It's always funny to me that some titles, they have the double box like this, okay? Open it up, nothing. There's nothing in the front for some reason. And then here's the game. It's like, why did they do the double box? I have no idea, but I mean, it is what it is. Legend of Legaia. Legend of Mana, another series that I've tried to get into. I've not been able to fully immerse myself in the Mana series, but I've heard this one isn't as good as like Secret of Mana, so eventually I'll check this one out. But another Squaresoft title, have to have it, just in the collection. Couple of medieval games. Medieval. I don't really know how to say this. I think it's just medieval, but like, yeah, come on. Sir Daniel. Horror, kinda, silly, kinda. PlayStation game. Shout out to PlayStation All-Stars for introducing me to this character. Medieval 2, didn't even know existed until yesterday when I bought it. Was really stoked to see this one. But yeah, super weird, super cool titles. Cool to have this because I think Medieval 2 is not accessible, like even in like a remastered version or in a port version. So it's cool to have this on PS1. This has obviously got a remake. So Medieval on the PlayStation 1, have to have it. Now we got into some expensive titles here. Mega Man 2, or Mega Man Legends 1 and Mega Man Legends 2. Shout out to Kyle Bossman from Easy Allies, who's the biggest Mega Man Legends fan I've ever seen in my entire life. These are pretty clean copies. I can clean this one up a little bit more, honestly. But this Mega Man Legends 2 is really clean. Another series that I really would like to get more into. I've only played Mega Man 2 and X, so I've never played any of the 3D ones, but I've heard great things about both of these titles. Expensive. I think this put me out $120 and $150, I believe. So definitely not on the cheaper side, but happy to have those in the collection. Come on. Metal Gear Solid. What a box art. Like we went over a lot of these box arts very loud. Metal Gear Solid, you know what you're getting. Tactical espionage action. Are you kidding me with this? I just knocked the disc out by bopping that a little bit on the front. There we go. Unfortunately, this will, I guess this just doesn't stay very well. I'm gonna need to have to rebuy this. This is a fun little story for you, for anybody. I think I told this in the Discord, but yeah, I bought this. Oh, it's not going back together. There we go. I bought this. The second disc doesn't load. So I got halfway through the game and then I had to go finish it on PlayStation 3 for like the PlayStation 1 Classic version of it. Very disappointing, but I beat it, loved it, absolutely love it. So I'm gonna have to rebuy that at some point. Bought this yesterday, know nothing about it. Metal Gear Solid VR missions. I guess this is just more missions from 300 classified operations against relentless professional killers. Are you kidding me, dude? I guess it's just more Metal Gear, and I'm all about that. So yeah, cool to have it in the collection. I think I have just about every Metal Gear game at this point in some form or fashion. More Squaresoft time. Resident Evil style horror games, I think, as I understand it. Parasite Eve 1 and 2, a cinematic RPG from the creators of Final Fantasy VII on the back of this, it says. The Threat returns in Parasite Eve 2. I've heard great things about the series. I think, I'm sorry if I'm mistaken here, but How to Banana in our Discord really likes Parasite Eve, so shout out to them. Definitely looking to get to these soon. I almost pulled these out at some point, but I was playing a lot of horror games in a row, and I was like, I don't know if I want to pull out Parasite Eve right now and just stay in the horror vibe. So I think I ended up playing like Ape Escape or something instead. But those games are all on the pricier side. Another game that's on the pricier side, Parappa the Rapper. Love this box art, so classic. About a 2-hour game, 1-hour game, not very long. It does not function the way that I thought it would. The timing is very weird. I eventually finally beat it for the first time this year. Very stoked on that. Parappa the Rapper, come on, bring it back, Sony. Bring it back, PlayStation. That's what we got. And here we go. The most expensive title in my collection. Picked this up yesterday, knew I was doing this video today. I went into my local game store and I was gonna buy Suikoden 2, and the store clerk was like, "You into PS1 collecting?" I'm like, "You could say that." And he was like, "We just got the most insane PS1 collection I've ever seen in my entire life." And I was like, yeah, let's see it. And he pulled out this massive tote with just about every game you could possibly imagine for the PlayStation 1, some of the most expensive titles on the console. And one of them was Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. This is technically a sequel to Innocent Sin, which never came out in the US except until later on in the PlayStation Portable. $380, extremely expensive. Got a bonus from work, was like, let's treat ourselves. Come on, let's do it. You're not going to get an opportunity to find as clean of a copy of Persona 2 probably anywhere. Of course, Atlas, seminal developer nowadays. So I decided to finally pick this bad boy up. Laura will hopefully eventually play it because she's huge into Persona. You got Igor on the back, the the host of all the Persona games. Very cool to have in the collection. Very stoked about this. This was very irresponsible, but you got to do what you got to do for the fans. If I have an excuse to do it for the fans, I'm going to do it. Alrighty. Next up, we got a couple Resident Evil games, and for some reason, I don't have Resident Evil 1. It's always so accessible. It's so cheap that I'm just like, I'll get it eventually. But I have Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis here on the PlayStation 1. Classic titles. So freaking good. Pretty accessible for the most part, not very expensive, but happy to have those bad boys in the collection. Another Squaresoft game, Saga Frontier. Really love the art style of this game and how this looks, but I've also never really heard much about people enjoying it, so I don't know how good of a game it is, but look at this. That just looks ridiculous, man. And it's Squaresoft, so, had to have it. Another one of my most expensive games, my crown jewels, Silent Hill. Ooh, spooky. Another game just like Parasite Eve that I was like, do I want to play this right now? And I ended up not, but I've played Silent Hill 2 Remake. I'm totally into Silent Hill now. I will get around to playing this eventually. Super cool atmosphere. The fog. Are you kidding me? Silent Hill 2. Or Silent Hill 1, rather. Couple of Spyro games. These are cheap. These are easy. You gotta have them in the collection though. Spyro and Spyro Ripto's Rage. I love the gold on this one. Really, really clean. Oh, this is the one that the cover comes off of. Not happy about this. Didn't realize it until after the fact, after I bought it. But we will eventually replace that, I would imagine. But I think it's only like a $20 game, which isn't nothing, but it's reasonable to replace. So Spyro. I've never played a Spyro game, but maybe one day. That seems like something you can kind of just get through pretty fast. I didn't know these were made by Insomniac. Why did I not know that? That's interesting. Siphon Filter. It's Metal Gear Solid without being Metal Gear Solid. I've never played one of these, but they're the classic PS1 titles. So, and it was like $6 or something. So, Tenchu and Tenchu 2. People, now that Onimusha is coming back, they shout out Tenchu a bunch. These are like stealth assassin games, of course, because it's literally called Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Birth of the Stealth Assassins on Tenchu 2. Pretty cool. Love the look of these games. Definitely will get to it at some point, but I've heard that they don't hold up the best, so maybe further down the line, but I'm happy to have these in the collection. Published by Activision, which is interesting. Back in the day when Activision didn't make crappy games. We got some classics here. Tekken 2 and Tekken 3. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Nick. Are we all about that Tekken?
We're all about that Tekken.
Nick's all about that Tekken. So Tekken 3 is considered the best by many, many people. I still haven't whooped Nick's butt in this game yet. I'm looking forward to him coming over at some point. We have a retro game night. I absolutely clown on him because, I'm the best gamer at Co-op 64, so I need to assert my dominance in Tekken 3. Tekken 2's box art, hilariously bad. Just kind of ridiculous. But glad to have both of these in the collection. Both pretty reasonable. Another fighting game, Squaresoft. Tobal number 1. I think Tobal number 2 is on this console as well. So that's another one of the Squaresoft games that I need to pick up. But another double box. It has, I imagine a lot of people bought this for the sampler CD for Final Fantasy VII original. That a lot of people saw it in the magazines and were like, we gotta get Final Fantasy VII early. Look at that interactive sampler CD. I wonder what they're showing. Showing some Nibelheim incidents in there. Oh my goodness. Last stack. One more. We're making good time. We're doing good. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. I have booted up both of these. Dude. hold up great. Like, actually, I have so much fun playing these games, just messing around, collecting, doing the different missions in each area. There's a reason these are classics, and they're relatively cheap on the console, pretty easy to pick up, but I highly recommend, like, if this was in the first batch of games that I bought that first day as well, to announce Pro Skater. So one of the first games I ever got on the Retro Collection, so happy to have that. Twisted Metal 2. Every single time I see a Twisted Metal in the store, I'm like, ooh, I want that. But which one do I have so I don't rebuy it? I can never remember which one it is. For some reason, I always think it's 4, but it's 2. So I need to get 1, 2, and 4 1, 3, and 4 at some point. But yeah, classic car carnage in Twisted Metal 2. This is, along with Legend of Dragoon and Parasite Eve and Silent Hill, those are like the ones that I want to get to the most. Vagrant Story is really high up there. Like I said, I think this is in the same world as Final Fantasy 12. The art style in this game is so stunning. It is so good. And apparently the combat is like really unique and really different. 2 discs here to play this title. Like, I just love the look of this game so much. What a cool name, Vagrant Story. What great box art. Like, come on, Squaresoft. Like I said, I've been mentioning their name so much because on the PlayStation 1 they were killing it, but their competitor was also making some great games. Another title that has excellent art and used to be, until yesterday, my most expensive game for $250. We have Valkyrie Profile, a game developed by by Enix. I was going to say Square Enix, but just Enix. 2 discs. I'm going to be really careful with this one. Valkyrie Profile, another JRPG, the JRPG Dream Machine, the PlayStation 1. Look at that. I hate taking this out of my apartment. Valkyrie Profile and Persona 2 will never be in Nick's apartment ever again after today, for sure, because they're going to stay on the shelf or in my console. Those are their 2 options. Another title that I had booted up. The intro to this game is so fucking cool, dude. Wild Arms. Almost bought Wild Arms 2 yesterday, but the copy was a little bit gross. The booklet up front was a little bit warped just from like water damage, I guess. But another character that was in Astrobot, so maybe we're getting him back. It's also available on the PlayStation Plus Premium Collection, so you can play it on PS5 if you'd like. But yeah, come on, Wild Arms, super cool. Love that name too. Love the name. Wipeout 3, played this bad boy recently for the first time. Played a Wipeout game for the first time. Do you like going fast? Because you go fucking fast in these games. It's super cool. Underrated series, I think, just from my limited experience with it. Always nice to have another racer on here. I have no Gran Turismo or anything. There's so many games that I want to get on PS1 that I don't have, but Wipeout 3, pretty reasonable. Love the box art for this. Just really cool. A PlayStation series that needs to make a comeback at some point. 2 more titles. This is my 3rd most expensive title in my PS1 collection, Xenogears. Of course, we have Xenosaga and then Xenoblade after that. I'm pretty sure they all have some sort of connection, you would imagine. But this game apparently had a really troubled development. The first half is apparently excellent. The second half has like a little bit of a wonky transition to it, but I've heard generally great things about this. There's definitely a cult following of it. This was $225. I think I got it last year. Another one of those games that a lot of the stuff on the PlayStation 1, I'm like, I really want to get to it and I really want to play it, but then I look at how long it is and it's like, oh, this is like 30 to 35 to 45 to 60 hours, and it's like, okay, like I need to carve out the time for that. And hopefully in 2025, when it all settles down and there's less games coming out, yeah, right, I'll be able to play some of these. Last up, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. Really love the box art on this bad boy. Have not booted this up, but every Yu-Gi-Oh! Game I come across, I buy because I freaking love Yu-Gi-Oh! Grew up watching the anime, love playing the card game. This box dropped off the back wall at some point. So unfortunately it is broken. So I'm going to need to buy a new one at some point, but that's okay. I still have the discs. I'm happy to have this in the collection. Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. That is the final game in the PlayStation 1 collection. Games I'm still looking for. I'm looking for Wild Arms 2. Like I said, Tales of Destiny, Gran Turismo, The Adventures of Tron Bond, which I think is the most expensive game on the console. I'm looking for, what was it? Shoot, I'm looking for the other Twisted Metal games, of course. Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff that I'm still looking out for, but I have, I think this was like 60 or 70 games or something like that, maybe around there. No, it's got to be like 60, maybe 50, because I have about 80 PS2 games. That'll be an episode in the future. So we'll take any feedback for this kind of content. I hope you enjoyed it. In the future, where we might change it up, but if you guys enjoyed that, just let us know on how we can make it even better. And if you have any questions for me, be sure to leave a comment, because I'll be happy to talk about this collection in any capacity. I love the PlayStation 1, one of the greatest consoles of all time, of course. Oh, I only have a few more Squaresoft games to pick up. I'm getting Ironhander soon, I believe. And then Saga Frontier 2, I know I need at some point. That Chocobo Dungeon game. So yeah, we're getting close. We're getting darn close. Those are like the next up for me for PlayStation 1. But it's getting barren out there. There's not that many PS1 games left for me to buy. That's why I end up buying so many more PS2 games, because there's just a lot on the PS2. I gotta get Shrek 2 on the PS2 at some point. Like, my goodness, like Madagascar. Like, there's so many great games on the PS2 that I don't have still. But yeah, PlayStation 1. That was your second episode of Recollecting Retro. I had a blast going through this. Let me know in the comments what you think. Peace out.